The beloved Master Sword. A blade that has vanquished multiple dark forces throughout the history of Hyrule. The Master Sword has been used to destroy magical barriers, lift veils of darkness, and has even been used as a key to access different realms. Although the Master Sword has some interesting abilities that make it one of the most iconic swords in the Zelda series, it also has a power which is rarely used. A power that can manipulate the passage of time. To start off, I just want to say that I'm not going to cover the events that unfold in the Zelda timeline as in-depth as I have in my previous videos. Doing this has led to me covering source material that's been covered countless times. Just in case you don't know the details of the Zelda timeline, go check out my timeline breakdown for a more comprehensive look at how everything plays out. Now that that's over, let's get into the theory. I know what you're thinking. What other power could the Master Sword possibly have under its belt? I mean, we already know it can shoot energy beams and is shown to repel evil. Well, what if I told you that on top of all the other abilities this blade has, it also holds the power to manipulate time itself? Crazy, right? It's actually been shown at least 4 times throughout the Zelda series, each instance showing an alternate way it can be used to affect time. To make things clear, I'll start off by going over the creation of the Master Sword and where its power comes from. It is said that the Master Sword, formerly known as the Goddess Sword, was created and blessed by the goddess Hylia herself. Before her final battle with Demise, Hylia placed the sword and the people of the land onto a crop of land and raised it into the sky. Hylia had a plan. She placed the being known as Phi into the Goddess Sword to wait for the chosen hero to one day pull the sword from its pedestal. With that in mind, our first example is in Skyward Sword. Hundreds of years after the great battle of Hylia and Demise, after Link learns of the second Gate of Time's location, Old Impa tells Link that the only way to unlock the gate's dormant state is to imbue the Goddess Sword in all 3 sacred flames, giving it enough power to unlock the Gate of Time using a Skyward Strike. After Link tempers the Goddess Sword and creates the Master Sword, the blade is filled with the power of the gods, Din, Nehru, and Furor, giving the Goddess Sword a slew of new powers. Link returns to the sealed temple in order to activate the Gate of Time. Raising his sword skyward, Link uses the sword's newfound power to unlock the Gate of Time, allowing him to travel into the past. Though the Master Sword isn't what sends Link back in time, it is still used as a very important piece to the puzzle, almost like a key to time itself. The holy light the Master Sword produces could also be the power source that is needed to activate time shift technology, tapping into the flow of time even before transferring the energy into the stone. The power to activate the Gate of Time was only granted to Link after he imbued the Master Sword in all 3 sacred flames. Since the Goddess Sword couldn't perform this task on its own, it's feasible to say that the 3 sacred flames combined with the Goddess Sword granted it enough power to unlock time in multiple different ways. Let's continue on. Next up is Ocarina of Time. This is where the Master Sword showcases its power over time to the fullest. When young Link unlocks the Door of Time and pulls the Master Sword from the pedestal of time, his mind and spirit are sealed away for 7 years while his body is protected in the Sacred Realm. Though Link is sealed away for 7 years, this gap of time seems to happen instantly for Link. This is very different from what we see in Skyward Sword, and it may be due to the fact that the Master Sword acted on its own will, using only its own power to transport Link into the future. Just from a couple in-game quotes, we can see that it was in fact the Master Sword that acted as the catalyst to move Link back and forth through time. This ability is used throughout the entirety of the game, acting as a vessel for Link to travel through the flow of time. The next instance the Master Sword is shown wielding the power over time is in Twilight Princess. Once Link returns to the Sacred Grove for the second time, he places the Master Sword back in its pedestal, unlocking a doorway leading to the past before the Temple of Time's destruction. Just like in Skyward Sword, the Master Sword is used as a key to unlock a doorway to the past. This leads me to believe that the holy light the Master Sword takes in is the only power source capable of performing such an action. Since time shift technology is a thing of the past by this point in the Zelda timeline, the Master Sword possibly unlocked this doorway using its own power to open a gateway to the past. Jumping over to the Wind Waker, we can find the last example of the Master Sword manipulating time. Upon Link's first journey to Hyrule beneath the depths of the ocean, he finds Hyrule Castle riddled with monsters frozen in time. Once Link finds the secret basement leading to the Master Sword, he pulls it from its pedestal, unknowingly releasing Ganondorf's dark power and the monsters frozen in time within the castle. The fact that all the monsters in Hyrule Castle reanimate once the Master Sword is pulled from its pedestal shows that the Master Sword was holding them within a seal that caused them to become stuck in time. Based off the story told of the events before the Wind Waker, we can see that no hero saved Hyrule or pulled the Master Sword from its pedestal. So how did it stop time within the walls of Hyrule Castle? It could in fact be the gods that caused this to happen. They sealed away Hyrule and flooded the land. This begs the question, why does the seal of time placed on Hyrule Castle break once the Master Sword is pulled from its pedestal? It seems as though the gods used the Master Sword as a sort of tool to seal away Ganondorf's dark power and stop time itself within the walls of Hyrule Castle. Although it is possible the Master Sword acted on its own as a defense mechanism to protect itself and Hyrule Castle, similar to what we see in Ocarina of Time when the Master Sword seals Link away until he is worthy to wield it. Either way you look at it, Hyrule Castle being frozen in time shows us yet another example of the Master Sword's ability to alter the state of time. To wrap it up, I'll leave you with this. Almost every 3D Zelda title has shown us an example of the Master Sword's ability to affect time. With the upcoming release of Zelda Wii U and NX looking as though it has a heavy emphasis on time, could we possibly see another instance where the Master Sword wields this ability? Will it simply be used as a key like in Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess? Or will it be used as a sort of vessel as we see in Ocarina of Time and the Wind Waker? We'll all just have to wait and see when Zelda Wii U and NX finally launches in 2017. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If any of you guys have some suggestions on a theory or topic you'd like to be covered here on the channel, feel free to comment down below. Just want to give a quick shout out to the one Game Over Jesse, my sister, and my lovely girlfriend for helping me out with the script. Thanks a lot, guys. I couldn't have done it without you. As always, you guys all have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.